We are at the end of the 19th century, all over the world. I mean, in Europe, in Germany, in England, in France, in America. A lot of people are trying to animate the image, the still photography. Reynaud, Le Prince, Demeny, Muybridge, Skladanowski, Marais, and of course, Thomas Edison. In the summer of 1894, Antoine Lumière, the father of Louis and Auguste, goes to Paris and assists to a demonstration of Edison's kinetoscope. He's very impressed. He goes back to Lyon to his two sons and tells them, you can do better, try to get that image out of the box. February 1895, they registered the pattern of what they will call the cinematograph, coming from Greek, which means writing the movement. The first film was shot on the 19th of March because they shoot that film between March 15 and March 20, and all the other days it was raining. The only sunny day is March the 19th. So at 11, between 11 and 3, they shoot the first film. The history of invention stops there. History of filmmaking begins. (19th of March, 1895). We are Chemin Saint-Victor in front of the Lumière factory. The Chemin Saint-Victor has now become the first film street. Lumière put this camera in front of his factory and begs, orders his workers to go out. This is the first film, the first version. We know it because the journalist at the time described a bicycle, a dog, that you can see the dog, and a horse. The workers, mostly women, know they are film because they are not looking at the camera. Another version, shot maybe later on in the spring or in the fall. They are dressed in a different way and they are becoming the first character of the first cinematograph film. The first character, I mean, is the crowd, the working class. I think it's very moving. The horse, the dog, no, two horses, a dog and a bicycle in that version. This is the film which was thought during 95 years to be the first film. And it's clearly shot in the summer. The workers are dressed more lightly. The dog and the bicycle coming out. And you can notice the shadows on the street, on the pavement. No horse in that version. And the first version was discovered in Lyon in 1985. During June and the summer, Lumière did a lot of films with his camera, which was weighing only 4 kilos, and we could film, shoot, process and project. This is one of the films shot in Neuville. This is the Congress of the Photograph. It was shot on the morning and shown to the people in the evening, creating a big impression. And the news spread up. The camera of the Lumière brothers was working. This is called Baby's Tea Time. On the left, Auguste Lumière, the brother of Louis, on his right, Marguerite. On the extreme right, a bottle of cognac. It's a French baby. And behind, what impressed most the audience at the time, the leaves moving, the wind in the tree. The Lumière did the first film and the first remake and the first home movie. This is the first comedy. It's so well known that it doesn't have to be commented. It still gets a lot of laughs today, so you just must imagine what was the reaction of the people who saw it December 28, 1895, because it was part of the 10 films shown in the Hotel Scribe. This is called the card game. On the left, the father of Louis and Auguste, Antoine. In the middle, Mr. Vinclair, the father of the two daughters who married the two Lumière brothers. He's serving and drinking his own beer, the beer he's making, because he's a beer maker. It's the first commercial. On the right, a character who is that Lumière introduced in many films, the waiter who is overacting, let's say, and who is commenting the film to show that it's funny. On the extreme right, Félicien Trémuel, that we will speak of him later on. This is the first masterpiece. It was not part of the first 10 films shown on the 28th of December, and this is the first horror movie. It's coming off of the train in La Ciotat, shot in the south of France. I mean, look at the use of diagonal, of perspective, the striking composition, very, very, very modern, and a great use of the black and white. Louis Lumière was a very good photographer, and he knew how to compose an image, and this is one of the first proof that of his immense talent, because what we want to celebrate in the montage is the Lumière, not only as inventor, but as filmmakers. This is Auguste giving orders. They are demolishing a wall. The film is called The Demolition of the Wall. And it was planned to be a documentary, maybe a little acted, but then an accident happened. Look. By rewinding the film, one day the film was projected backwards, and that created an enormous shock with the audience. Louis Lumière decided to use that accident and exploited the film like that in his later program. I mean, he was a filmmaker at that time. He was using all the accidents which was happening during the making of the films, and incorporating them in the next programs. A lot of the films they shot at that time were about the city in which they were living, my native city, by the way, Lyon. And those films are beautiful documents, historical and sociological, about the streets of a big city. And Louis Lumière wanted always to shoot scenes taken in the streets. It was one of his obsessions. He was asking, when he sent operators all over the world, he asked them to go in the streets and to film the daily life, bringing some documents which are of an immense value and of a great beauty. This is another part of Lyon. Again, you will see in that very simple scene a tremendous movement. I mean, calling his invention the cinematograph, which meant writing the movement, meant something for Louis Lumière. I mean, again, the movement is not frontal, it's not lateral, there is always a sense of the perspective, of the composition of the diagonal, which allows the